Hello, you got it locked in your children with your girl here, Tasha T, bringing you another episode of How to Shine Your Light. How to Shine Your Light is brought to you by Light Communications. Now, continuing on with our parenting series, we cannot talk about parenting if we don't talk about support. Okay, from a woman's perspective, where 95% of the times we have the children, right? And we depend on that male support to help to, play their part with ensuring that these children are good, whether it be physically, mentally, spiritually, socially. We need to know that they're children them good despite whatever is going on with us as parents. Now, in the last show, we talked about coming together in the best interest of these children and putting aside the pettiness and putting aside the bad mind and working together to ensure that your child is good, that your children are good. So, we need to take it a step further and talk about support, right? Now, a lot of men feel like when women talk about support, is always financial. Yes, the children them have to eat. Yes, they need stuff for school. There is always something. They need clothes. They need something. They always need something. Now I know because I as a mother of four, I keep telling her that the children them always need something. Okay, but sometimes we don't understand that the men aren't in a position to provide financially. We can get to the financial part, but there is much more to being a parent than providing financial support. Okay, so if you as a man can provide financial support, you think that's the end of your job? Because you can provide financial support, you think you get a free pass? That's it? You don't have to do nothing? That's what you think? If that's what you think, you're sadly mistaken. Okay, so show that woman, baby, I might be on talking a baby because that's your ex, right? Like, I might be, you might be experiencing some difficulties in between jobs. Communicate that, but then in addition to that, keep that lifeline with the children. Make sure you know what's going on with them. See how you could help that woman. You understand? That don't require money. Can you pick them up from school? Can you help with homework? Can you take them for a weekend or for a week or for whatever? Can you intervene with your presence in the absence of your finances? Because as a woman with 4 children, trust me, a break now and again did more for my mental health than finance. Okay? A break. Sometimes we women, we'll be going on all, especially if we have young children. It's especially trying being a single parent with young children and you don't have a community behind of you. If you don't have anybody that you could say, Lord, take the children from me for a little bit, just so you could reset, so you could refresh. So parents, and sometimes it's the fact the men have the children. Sometimes the men have the children, so like I said, it's 95% of the times we have the children, but sometimes the men have the children and the woman, see them doing the same thing. They're like, whatever, dude, you got the children, you work it out. I don't feel no way for men who have to, experience a bad baby mama, because that's what we women be doing for centuries with bad baby daddies. You understand? But that ain't fair, and that ain't some good thoughts for me to have, because every child, and we coming outside of the realm of the two people in the relationship, the mother and the father, we looking towards these children. They deserve contributions from both of their parents in order to thrive and to be their best. Okay? Now, for that parent, that non-custodial parent whose support is fleeting, okay, so you might come for the children them or the child once every 2 or 3 months. You might call them on their birthday, probably Christmas or maybe once in between. When they're looking for you for support from if they're having trouble in school, you cannot be found. You don't want your name as no contact person because you don't want nobody calling your phone in regards to your child. Okay? All these things have to stop. When you, as a man or a woman, the non-custodial parent, do not financially support your children on a consistent basis, it is putting them at a disadvantage. You understand? And yeah, especially if the court is not involved. If the court involved and you mandated to pay a certain amount of money a month and you paying it and what's not, and then it's a set of you who feel like, okay, that's enough, she getting money every month and that's it, then you're missing the whole point. But for those of you who ain't on no child support and doing what you want, when you want, how you feel, know that you ain't hurting and expecting a woman, you hurting and expecting them children ain't getting to be optimum at their best, because there are going to be limitations that only one person is trying to sustain the children and the household and all of that. Women, non-custodial parents, because I don't want to make it seem like it's just about the man, but like I said, 95% of the times it's about the man them, because the woman them have the children. If that custodial parent is not good, neither is your child. So be consistent. Be consistent with your presence. Be consistent with your finance. Be consistent with your wisdom. Be consistent with your advice. Be consistent with being there. If you on low times, that woman will understand. If you helping her in other ways. And be consistent with something. If you can't afford the $500, fine. What can you afford? You can afford $200-$300 every 2 weeks, every month. That's what you could afford. Do it. Don't just leave a woman out there hanging out to dry, needing to figure out how she gonna meet this hair, then the man's on the school, then food and stuff. For those of you who live in a situation where school, lunch and breakfast and stuff is provided, you're ahead of the game, that helps tremendously. But people who don't have that kind of access, if we got a bunch of hungry children going to school, and guess what, parents and the non-custodial people, parents them up and down living their best life, and their children hungry and they okay with that. We need to stop. Ladies and gentlemen, I started off this series by asking the fathers to ensure that child is theirs, so that the sacrifices, and there are sacrifices that have to be made as a parent when you have to tend to your next generation, that is your lineage. We have to take some kind of pride in that, so for a fact that's your child. You ain't have no doubt in the back of your mind. You don't do your test. That's your child. And then you gonna just let that child sink or swim because you having drama with the mother, because you want to be spiteful, because you want to show she something, or you want to show he something. Meanwhile, the child over here suffering. And you could tell the suffering children them. You could tell them. And you okay with that? We really need to look inside ourselves, ladies and gentlemen, and we need to let go of all the dirty, bad mind, wickedness that we have towards each other. And we have to uphold love, respect, and unity. Even though you and a woman need together to raise your children. You're done, yes. You're done. Went through that period where, man, you gotta get out of your system because you really, love this person or whatever. Whatever are you done now? You get out of your system, you move on, they move on. You got children to raise. Get on the same page and stop leaving these children hanging the balance, okay? You had a lot and you've been chilling with your girl here, Tasha T, bringing you another episode of How to Shine Your Light. How to Shine Your Light is brought to you by Light Communications. Remember, Light Communications for all of your public relations and communications needs. Hit me up, Natasha at lightcommunications.com, and look out for our new programming. And hit the subscribe, hit the like, hit the follow, turn on the notifications, because light, your girl coming. Have a wonderful day and blessings.